Welcome back, everybody. Today we are doing a review of the RipCurrent S. This is a juiced bike. It goes for about $2,500. This particular model is the older model, 2019 model of the RipCurrent S. So, notable changes of the 2019 version. The biggest one is going to be this rear motor back here. Is just the 750 watts, so right there, 750 watts. But it's largely unchanged, so slightly lower power than the newer RipCurrent S, but this one kind of is like the RipCurrent non-S now. So if you're looking for something like that, we can look at that. There are a couple of changes. I bought this used, so one of the brake sensors doesn't work. The original battery was a 19.2 amp hour battery, so I can't test the range because I have a 12 amp hour 52 volt same battery, so we still have the same characteristics that we had from the previous battery. The limitation is going to be the controller. The controller is actually up here above the battery, so it sits inside the tube, gets a lot of cooling, and it is a 20 amp controller. So 750 watt motor, 20 amp controller. It can pull up to 1,000 watts though. So you do have a sustained of 750, peak 1,000 watts. 26-inch by 4 fat tires. The bike rolls really well. It's fairly heavy, around 75, 80 pounds. And it is what I would say is a large bike. It's meant for people who are a little bit bigger. The geometry is not quite as slack as the newer models, so you have to lean forward just a little bit to reach these handlebars. Not necessarily my favorite, but it's a good bike. So that's the bike as it stands today, and I wanted to do a couple of tests on it. So it has some really nice 120 millimeter travel front suspension, no rear suspensions. It has a 7-speed derailleur, Shimano, and it has some really nice hydraulic disc brakes. It also comes with a light in front, and it's overall a really good bike. So the Kenda tires are awesome. The hydraulic disc brakes work very well. The cranks are nice. Everything about this bike is as it should be. So turning on the display and taking a look at it, this is a very standard juiced display. Hold the positive and minus button to take a look at the different settings. We have unit speed, the speed limit, backlight, wheel size. So you can set the speed limit, for example, to a really high rate of speed. However, that doesn't really change how fast you can go. You can only go 20 miles per hour, throttle only, and 28 miles per hour pedaling. This particular bike, even though it's older, it still has a torque sensor. A torque sensor is essentially, it senses how hard you're pedaling and it will adjust the power to that. So I do have the torque sensor turned on. You can turn the torque sensor off if you would like. So as I said before, I won't be able to test the range of this because I don't have the stock battery, but we can test the top speed because we are limited by the controller, not the battery. And that's going to be the way it is for this bike in any given situation. So this is a relatively flat road once we pass this little speed bump right here. So let's give it a whirl, top speed, throttle only. It should be about 20 miles an hour. And I am a heavier dude, around 210 pounds. So let's give it a go. We are at 19.8, 20 miles an hour. So even though we are going uphill into the wind, it had no problem hitting 20 miles an hour. Let's try and go top speed run from just a rolling start. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. It's pulling hard still. 29, 30, we're gonna run out of road. 31 miles an hour, that's fast. That's really fast. So that's faster than what it said. I mean, it said 28 miles an hour top speed, but man, this thing moves. So I'm in the top gear, but because I have the torque sensor, I can pedal and it'll only give me as much as I'm asking it, which makes it a really nice experience. So if you haven't ridden with the torque sensor, it's very nice, because if you ghost pedal or just pedal on a bike without a torque sensor, it just says, oh, you're pedaling, give it as much juice as it possibly can. And it wastes battery power and all sorts of stuff. But this one, with the torque sensor, it makes a lot of sense. So next thing, this is a 16% grade. We're gonna go back up it and we're gonna test what it's like going up a hill. And we will just do throttle only for this test. So we always start on the solid line. We're gonna start from a dead stop and we're just going to throttle only up to the top of this hill. This is a fairly large hill, 16% grade, goes from about 10 to 16% grade, right about in the center here. So let's just see what our top speed is. It's pulling really hard, actually. 11 miles an hour, 12, 13. This is pulling hard. 13 miles an hour, this is the 16% grade part right here. 12, 11.4, 11.2, 11, 10 miles an hour, 10.5. All right, that was great. Very little voltage sag. Wow. Very, very good. That was incredible. And off-road, this thing is a beast off-road. It just rolls through anything. So this is a throttle only off-road. We're just cruising, not a problem. Man, I like this bike. This is amazing, actually. Really, really nice. Wow, okay. I'm impressed. It's a really cool bike. Overall thoughts. So the levers could be a little bit better. They feel a little dinky. I know they have different levers now. These aren't bad levers. They're just fairly long. I like slightly smaller levers. But honestly, this bike is pretty much everything I want in an e-bike. Tons of torque. It's kind of hard to show on the video how much torque it has, but this bike has more torque than other bikes that I've ridden. I have a 1200 watt e-bike, I have a 1000 watt e-bike, but this bike, because it has a beefy 20 amp controller, it makes it so it has a lot of usable power. And that is really, really nice. So I'm gonna give the 2019 RipCurrent S a massive thumbs up, and that's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.